And as we move into March, at the end of this week, we get closer and closer to the high holy days for the Irish community and the celebration of the St. Patrick's Day Parade. This year's parade is going to be held on March 10th in the city of Union, as it always is, and we're pleased that this year's Grand Marshal is an Elizabeth youngster, born and bred, and he's a police captain, lieutenant. I might have just promoted him.
Thank you.
Bill Dugan. Welcome, Bill.
Thank you, Mayor.
Was it captain, lieutenant?
It's a lieutenant.
Oh, it's lieutenant. Well, maybe you'll be captain someday, right,
Maybe.
Bill? Your family wants that.
Absolutely.
Well, congratulations on the honor.
Thank you very much.
And Miss Kerri Ricci, who is the adjutant of this year's parade. Now, we know your married name is Ricci, so you better tell our guests what your maiden name is. So.
Kerri Chardine.
Kerri Chardine, so they know that you're as Irish as the day is long, right? And J.Panella, the general chairperson, yes, another Italian.
My married name as well.
Your married name as well.
my mother's maiden name is Gil Martin.
Oh, there you go. I was going to say, because I didn't think they let Italians in on the St. Patrick's Day Parade.
Oh, they do.
So how long have you all been part of the parade? I'll start with you, Mike.
I was involved in the very beginning when we first sat down in '95 to start discussing having a parade in Union County. First parade hit the street in '97. I went away for a couple of years because I was actually on the Union Township Board of Education, and I took up a lot of my time.
That'll take you away, huh?
Yes, it did. So I couldn't do both, and my wife wouldn't put up with it, so had to get away from the parade for a while. But I came back about 6 years ago. I was asked to be an assistant adjutant, and I was an adjutant in 2009, worked my way up the chairs, second vice chair, first vice chair, and now the general chairperson.
So it's a building incremental steps, huh?
Right, and it's not anything that's a given. You have to be elected. There's an election. People can run off the floor against you. So I was fortunate enough to be elected this year.
So Kerri, are you elected as well to the adjutant position?
No, the adjutant position is appointed by the general chairperson.
And I'm told that the adjutant does all the work. Is that true?
I wouldn't say they do all the work. I coordinate everybody else doing all the work.
Now, I remember you being involved in the parade when you were marching up front carrying the banner.
I marched in the very first parade when I was in high school. I had worked at the Center for Hope, and as we all know, Father Hudson was our first Grand Marshal, and he was the founder of the Center for Hope, but he passed away a couple of months before the parade, so we all marched in his honor, and I think I marched in almost every parade until I joined the committee in 2005.
So now the committee, you don't have to march, you just got to tell people where to go?
No, you usually end up marching several times with different organizations, but...
And Bill, you've been involved in the parade, and did you have to run to be the chairman of this parade? Did they just come calling? Did you put your name in the hopper? How does this all? Is there a democratic process in Irish organizations?
Actually, I'm sure there's a democratic process, but I did not have to enter my name or run for it. I was called by a member of the parade committee, Kathy Noonan, and I was actually very surprised that I was chosen as Grand Marshal. I didn't campaign for it. It's a great honor, and to get that call that night in early December was just unbelievable.
So tell us about it. I mean, tell us about yourself, first of all. You grew up in Elizabeth, and St. Mary's graduate. Tell us about yourself.
I grew up in Elizabeth, born and raised. I come from a family of six of us. We lived on Rowway Avenue for most of our life. My dad worked for the recreation department in the city of Elizabeth. My mom has been involved with various Irish organizations, and when she wasn't raising the kids, she worked at St. Elizabeth's Hospital. I had a very happy childhood.
And a housing authority.
A housing authority for years, yes.
Don't forget that if Mom's watching.
I can't forget that, that's right. And she's the most proudest of me being named Grand Marshal, by the way. I don't think I even have to say that. She's floating on cloud nine. But I'd be remiss to think that being not being an Elizabeth police officer, I would never be the Grand Marshal at this parade. I think I've made a lot of friends and a lot of contacts, and I've gotten to meet a lot of competent people like Mike and Kerri that run this parade, and if it wasn't for my connections in the Elizabeth Police Department and being the commander of the traffic division, I don't think I'd be sitting here today.
So the cops marching with you?
Absolutely.
You never know with these guys, right?
No, you do never know. But no, they'll be marching.
Michael, tell us about the general chairperson 1 year, 5 year term. How do you get there?
It's just a 1 year term. Our bylaws only allow for 1 year. And then every year, the month after the parade, we have a meeting where a nomination is made from the floor to replace us, and then there's an election. And so the new general chair takes over April of this year.
Oh, so right after the parade, you're done as general chairperson? Right after the parade,
I'm finished. I get to go away on vacation and relax a little bit, and the new chairman gets all the headaches. I'll give him a big file and a big a file on my computer full of all the information he's going to need or she's going to need for next year, and we move on. You know, we're always around though. We always help out. We're always there for advice and support.
So you've filled almost every role in the administration of this parade?
Yes, I have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
it's been a lot of fun. There's a lot of great people. You learn a lot about it. You know, people don't realize what goes into putting a parade on the street. You know, not only does it cost $70,000 to $80,000, it's a 10-month process. We take a month or two off after the parade, and then we get right back into it. It takes that long to put things together.
Well, getting all the bands and
getting the bands organized, getting the fundraising organized. Fundraising is a big part of my job as a chairperson. We're responsible for raising the money. We have a lot of corporate sponsors. If it weren't for the corporate sponsors, we wouldn't have the money to put on the parade. We run our own in-house fundraisers, different things. This past weekend, we had a Finnegan's Wake and the Guinness Fun Run. We run the Celebrity Bartenders that you've attended. You know, and we raise some money there, but the bulk of our funds come from our corporate sponsors.
And you got to get on the phone and call those folks.
Yeah, we mail them out letters, and then, of course, you have to follow up with phone calls.
They're
not going to respond to the letters, no.
And Kerri, you've been involved in the parade, as you said, from marching in high school. In the very beginning of this parade, you're starting to date yourself, though, if you can say that. So, and is this your first role as an administrative role in the parade, or have you played other roles as administration in this parade?
This year and in the last few years, I've also been the recording secretary, which is an elected position of the officers. And
as adjutant, you tell people where to go in a nice way?
Basically, the adjutant puts the parade on the street. So as Mike said, he's busy raising all the funds and working on the fundraisers. My job is to organize the parade so that we can all march down the street, getting the permits and the bands and the marching organizations and things of that sort. But which sounds very overwhelming, but really there's so many people involved in the parade that oftentimes somebody else has already been doing it. So
now, as a person who marches every year, do you always wind up with the group that says, "Why am I marching here and I should be marching there"? Does that happen in the Irish parade? Is that
yes, it does. Yes, it does. And ultimately, what happens is we have to everybody has to be in the parade somewhere.
Or you just let them go.
We try to rotate things a little bit as much as we can and accommodate different groups when we can. But not everybody can be in the first part of the parade. It's not that long, though.
It's not that long, no. So the folks who are in the beginning part one year may go to the end part the next year. That type of rotation.
Yep.
Is that how it works? And the adjutant gets to do that. Like, is it all set already for March 10th, or is there still movement going on?
It's a rough draft.
It's a rough draft.
It's almost all set.
So until you start getting phone calls. Where's Nugent's marching, by the way? That's who I march with, so I should ask that.
The Nugents are leading off the 4th Division, which is the Owen Roma governed division.
Oh, so they're leading. Have they been announced, by the way? We're going to get into that, I guess, the names of the divisions.
Yes, they have been announced.
They have been announced, okay. If you could stay with us, we're going to do a commercial, and then we'll come back and talk more about the St. Patrick's Day Parade on March 10th. Please stay with us after these messages. We're back with more with the St. Patrick's Day Parade for March 10th with Michael, Kevin, and Kerri. Welcome back to our city, where I'm joined by Bill Dugan, the Grand Marshal, Kerri Ricci, the Adjutant, and Michael Panella, the General Chairperson. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And Kerri, as the Adjutant, we were talking about some of your duties. What else is there besides dealing with people who may want to move, not move, and dealing with some of the issues that go on?
Again, it's just coordinating the actual parade itself, getting the permits, coordinating with the police department. The Union Police Department, as well as the surrounding towns, have always been a huge support. So coordinating with them and the fire department and traffic and everything else, just trying to get everything all organized.
Now, one of the things about the Union Parade, unlike any other parade, is they don't have a lot of automobiles and vehicles and fire trucks, and they have people. Is that a concentrated effort on behalf of the parade committee, Michael?
Yeah, it's part of the bylaws. The bylaws actually state that vehicles aren't permitted except on an exception basis.
So for people who can't walk.
People who can't walk, senior citizens, we do have a lot of seniors, so we allow that. The motorcycle police, of course, are in there, we allow that. But when they first started out, we didn't want to have a big, loud parade with people blowing the fire horns, you know, the fire engines blowing their horns and things like that. Some people love it, other people don't, and we decided to keep it that way, keep it a people-oriented, because it is a family-oriented parade. Prior to the parade, we have that family fun zone. We have kids and kids rides and games and food stands set up before the parade starts on Stuyvesant Avenue. So we like to have a lot of families out, and that's what brings them out, we think.
Plus, you got the other people on the porches. That's
right.
you know,
maybe
not family fun, more adult fun, but you got all those
Yeah, those little porch parties.
Yeah, those porch parties along the way. They're pretty cool, actually, those porch
Reminiscent
parties.
of the old days in Newark when we used to go up South Orange Avenue. It was the same
Right.
way back then, past Seton Hall. All those homes had parties.
Yeah, they had homes all the way up, all the frat houses and everything else.
Yep.
And now, Bill, as a Grand Marshal and your involvement in the parade, you've marched almost every year, correct?
I've either marched every year or rode a motorcycle or been involved in one way or another since the parade's inception.
So you still ride a motorcycle?
No, I haven't recently.
Are they making you walk? Are they making you walk?
Oh,
this parade?
absolutely. I can't wait to walk. It'll be a fast mile, I'm sure.
Now you get to pick the who do you have? Do you have
Aides.
Aides or whatever they're
yes,
called?
I did get to pick them.
And how many aides do you have?
17.
17 aides.
My father's favorite number, by the way.
Oh, was it?
17.
So that's why you picked 17.
It was
or
no,
you
it was a
got to that
coincidence,
number
but you know, I didn't want to say no to anybody either. So I have.
so people were asking you?
No, not really. But when I went through the numbers, I have my wife and my daughter and my 2 sons. I actually picked my mom as an aide. I have my brother-in-laws. My brother-in-law Scott is my chief of staff. I have some of my nephews and a couple close friends.
They wear tuxes and top
Yes,
hats?
they do.
And
Yes, they
they're
do.
renting all that stuff?
Yeah, we're all in the process of that now.
So you footing that bill, or you telling them they got to do it individually?
Oh, we're doing a little bit of both.
We had to buy a few extra sashes though, because he does have the largest contingent of Grand Marshals had in a long time. So
Oh, really? That's what I was going to get at. Is it one of the larger contingents?
Yeah, definitely is. Yeah.
Any cops aides, or they're marching in the parade?
No, I do have a few cops as aides. I have, off the top of my head, Scott McNabb, Billy Buteau, my brother Dan, who's a retired police officer. One of the things I wanted to mention before, I'm not the first Elizabeth police officer to be a Grand Marshal. Matty Glacken was before me, and also Monsignor O'Donnell, who's the police chaplain. He was also the Grand Marshal. So I'm following in some huge footsteps. And Jim Cosgrove, the police director, was the Grand Marshal of the Newark Parade. So I've got a lot to live up to.
I forgot about Matty Glacken, but don't tell him I forgot about him.
No, I will.
He was the Grand Marshal a few years back,
Yes,
right?
he was. Yes, he was.
Is he going to be there playing the bagpipes?
Yes,
for
he
you?
will. He'll be marching with his band, St. Columkille, and he's a great help to me. I call him if I have any questions about what I should do or what's expected of me, and he's a great help.
So what's your message that you hope to deliver or serve as a Grand Marshal and to convey to those who are out there hanging out watching the parade?
I think Mike hit it on the head before when he said about this being a family parade. I mean, I come from a big family, a large family. I'm going to celebrate my Irish heritage and honor St. Patrick on March the 10th, and I'm going to do it, with my family right beside me. And another thing, a lot of the Grand Marshals, we spoke about this at our investiture mass, a lot of the Grand Marshals have Elizabeth roots, so I'll also be celebrating my Elizabeth roots. And one of the stories I like to tell, my great-grandfather, when he emigrated from Ireland in 1853, he ended up on Bond Street in Elizabeth, and he was married in St. Patrick's Church. He met a girl who actually lived on a tugboat in the Arthur Kill. He married her at St. Patrick's Church.
That must have been good living, huh?
Yeah, her father owned the tugboat, and I guess that was the way of life at the time. And he fought in the Civil War. He ended up getting married at St. Patrick's and being buried from St. Patrick's. So his name was Patrick Kelly, and I'll be marching with him on my mind, and of course my father, who's gone on my mind also. Good
for you. And Kerri, next year, after the adjutant role, do you look to move up to general chairman? Is that how this works? And you got to run for that, or they just did you say, Kerri, you did such a great job as the adjutant, we're going to make you the general chairman?
No, usually there's kind of a hierarchy, and there's a first vice chair and a second vice chair. So as Mike said, he's served in both of those positions as well. So I'm looking forward to a couple months off.
I was going to say, adjutants could get shelved under the pile somewhere, right, and forgotten about too. But they can't forget about you. I mean, right?
Let's hope not. Let's hope not.
I mean,
It all depends on how the parade works out.
Is that how it goes?
That's a lot of pressure if it's raining.
That's probably a good follow-up question. Do you critique yourselves after the parade's over and say, hey, we could have did this better?
Sure.
And
every year we want the parade to be bigger and better.
How does that go over a few Guinnesses? I can imagine a bunch of Irish people saying you did something wrong.
You don't get too many people saying you did something
That's
wrong.
good to hear.
Not to your face.
That's
they may tell you, and you hear it through the grapevine, so you make some changes for next year. But we all get along fairly well.
That's
we haven't had any problems.
And it's definitely a team effort. I have Mike's old binder of what he did several years ago in the last few adjutants just keep passing it along, and so we all learn from one another. So
the adjutant job, as far as complaints, did they go to you, Kerri? Did they go to the chairman, or if you don't want to deal with it, you go see Mike?
Well, I'm going to try that technique.
Thanks.
I don't think there are many complaints. It's a great day, and ultimately, at the end of the day, if everybody gets down the street safely and has a good time, then
because the reason the people watching the parade have no concept of how difficult it is to put all of these people on the street and then make them march in concert to get to the end. And Bill, you said it's only a mile long?
Yeah.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
1.1.
1.1 miles,
Yeah,
and then you
1.1.
go by the reviewing stand to the
Right,
past the theater, right?
And
Yeah,
go block past there and you're done.
Same route.
Right.
You talked about the underlying theme is family, volunteerism, heritage, as Bill talked about. Is there a theme that's picked every year, or this is
Well, we've always had the family fun themes, but every year the general chairman gets to pick a dedication. Like last year, it was dedicated to the state police. This year, I chose to dedicate it to the those that have been touched by cancer. My wife's a leukemia survivor, 6 years. My stepdad is actually fighting brain cancer right now, and everybody you meet has somebody that's been touched by cancer. So we want to raise awareness towards the fundraising efforts that the local cancer organizations have. We've invited the American Cancer Society to march with us, and all the local chapters of the different groups, like the Leukemia Lymphoma Society, Susan G. Coleman. So we're getting some of them to march with us. We had a few fundraisers where we collected part of the money. We're going to make a donation to the American Cancer Society. And like I said, it's just a way of raise awareness around what's going on in the world, and hopefully get some more money donated to these organizations to help find a cure.
Kerri, during the break, you talked about naming of the divisions, and Nugent's is marching in the Owen Roe McGovern division, who passed away last year. What are the names of the other divisions?
We start out the parade with the Parade Committee Memorial Protocol Division. Then the first division will be the Trooper Thomas Hanratty and Fallen Officers Division. Trooper Thomas Hanratty, of course, was an Elizabeth resident as well. The second division, in honor of our dedication, is the Cancer Survivor Honorary Division. The third division is the Honorable Tim McCormick Memorial Division, who was a Superior Court judge out of Essex County and is a longtime member of the Cryan Association, and he passed away in June. The Owen Roe McGovern will be the fourth division, and then the fifth and final division is the permanently named division of the parade, which is the Father Charles J. Hudson Memorial Division.
So that's permanent, and but the Hanratty division has been around for a few years.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah,
I believe this is the 20th anniversary, so the state police, they've always provided such a tremendous support to us, and
he
really
passed
just wanna
away in
honor
April of '92. It is the 20th year, so okay, so that's good. How has this parade changed you in the last couple of months? Maybe we'll start with you, Bill, because you woke up one morning and got a phone call, right?
Yeah, yes, I did. It's changed me by, put me back in touch with my Irish heritage, number one. But
You doing research at all, or?
Well, right away I got on the phone with my mom and a few of my aunts that are still alive. We started looking up some things about our heritage.
Did you know the story about your great grandfather?
Oh, yeah, I did.
You knew that ahead of time.
Yes,
okay.
I actually have his obituary was in the Daily Journal. Was around. I don't remember the exact date of his death, but I have a copy of his obituary in the Daily Journal. It mentions St. Patrick's and him fighting in the 14th Infantry Division in the Civil War and living on Bond Street his entire life after he came to America. But it's changed me mostly by my participation. I get to see a lot of Mike and Kerri and a lot of the parade committee. They're great people and very, very competent people, and they make it very easy for me too, by the way. But we spend a lot of time together, and I've made a lot of appearances, and it's a lot of fun.
Where are all those appearances? I mean, I know we escort the bus on that day, right? You're going to go to 14 places the day of the parade?
Well, you have to speak to the adjutant. It's only about 6 or 7.
Oh, okay.
But different places throughout Union County, and I've appeared at Irish organizations, and I still have a few to go to. Tomorrow we're meeting at Union City Council, Municipal Council. Let's see, Thursday night I have a meeting with the Friendly Sons. The week after, we have a meeting in front of we have to attend the Freeholders meeting, the Union County Freeholders meeting. I have a Woman of Irish Heritage dinner that I have to go to and speak at. So it's things like that, and they're a lot of fun, a lot of great people.
Kerri, how has it changed you in the last couple of months being in the role of the adjutant? Did it kick up in a higher gear as it gets closer to the parade?
Yes, it definitely has kicked into high gear. There's been a little less sleep, and thanks to a very patient husband at home who stays home with the kids while I come out to all of these things. So it's been great, and it's great to they're a great organization and a great group of people to hang out with.
How about you?
It gives you great appreciation for what people do behind the scenes, like you said earlier. You know, when I finished my year as an adjutant, I thought I knew everything there was about running the parade until you become chairman, and you find out there's a whole nother world and there's a whole bunch of other things you have to learn how to do. So you get a great appreciation for the people that put these parades on across the state, not only just in Union County.
So the fundraising aspect probably dominates a lot of your time.
Right.
Yeah, and following
It's
people
mostly
up.
phone calls, you know, and the checks are all coming in. We get the same sponsors pretty much every year after year the last few years. So it's not hard, it's just a little tedious. You know, you just got to follow.
So would you do it again?
Sure, absolutely.
Oh, you would? Oh,
Oh,
okay.
yeah.
How about you, Kerri?
Sure.
Yeah, you'd be the
been fun.
adjutant again? It's, so you take some time off, though. And then,
Yeah, I'll take a little time off.
I want to thank the three of you for being on the show and wish you well. Look forward to following you on March 10th on, what is it, Morris Avenue and Stuyvesant Avenue?
Yes, it is 1 o'clock sharp.
I'll be there. Well,
Okay,
not for,
Mayor.
yeah, I'll be there and we'll march. And Kerri, Michael, thank you. For Bill, Kerri, and Michael, I'm Chris Bolwage, and we'll see you next week on another edition of Our City.